It was a busy weekend for protests in the North Country. Hundreds of people lined Route 37 in Messina in the rain. Hundreds more took to the streets in Plattsburgh, Potsdam, Watertown, Saranac Lake, Elizabethtown. This was all part of the so-called hands-off rallies, criticizing the Trump administration's actions on government downsizing, the economy, human rights, and other issues. But the biggest protest in the region was in Sackets Harbor, where about 1,000 people rallied for the return of 3 children who were detained during a dairy farm investigation. As we'll hear in a minute, that protest may have worked. That's today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from Pearsall Wealth Management at UBS Wealth Management USA. Subsidiary UBS AG, member FINRA, SIPC. 1 Broad Street Plaza, Glens Falls. And the New York State Caregiving and Respite Coalition, seeking volunteers aged 55 plus to support family caregivers in northern and central New York. Visit nyscrc.org/AmeriCorps.
Hey, I'm David Sommerstein. It's Monday, April 7th. A family detained during a recent federal immigration investigation on a Jefferson County dairy farm is coming home. Governor Kathy Hochul said in a statement today that she had direct confirmation from Border Czar Tom Homan that the mother and 3 children are currently on their way back to Jefferson County. Assemblyman Scott Gray said the family, which has an immigration case and had been attending scheduled check-ins, will not be in danger of being removed from the community again.
There is no concern about the family remaining in the community. According to my conversations with federal authorities, is that they have concluded all of their work in the investigation regarding these children.
Gray said as far as he knows, the family's next court date will be in June. In an emailed statement, Sackets Harbor School Superintendent Jennifer Gaffney wrote that she and her colleagues are relieved and grateful that, quote, after 11 days of uncertainty, our students and their mother are returning home. Corey DeSillis, chairman of Jefferson County's Democratic Committee, helped organize Saturday's rally for the family that drew 1,000 people. He said today they're coming back to Sackets Harbor because local people spoke up.
You know, this is a win for humanity, really. I mean, small community, and banded together. And I don't think it would have just happened on its own. I don't think this administration is in the business of just letting things happen.
There's been no new information about the 3 other dairy workers who were detained from the farm. Assemblyman Scott Gray says he's unsure of their status, but will be following up with federal officials. So even though the mother and 3 children are returning to Sackets Harbor, the issues people were protesting on Saturday are still very much in play. There are hundreds of dairy farm workers in the North Country who could be caught up in President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. So we're going to listen to the voices from that protest. Amy Feiereisel was there.
In front of the Sackets Harbor Visitor Center, about 200 people are chanting and singing.
Bring them home, bring them home.
Jonna St. Croix is president of the Teachers Association at the Sackets Harbor School. She says in a K-12 school as small as theirs, everyone knows these 3 children, 1 in elementary school, 2 in high school, who disappeared 2 Thursdays ago.
And so when there is an empty desk in a classroom, it is very evident, and we miss them.
St. Croix teaches the 2 teenagers.
My own students, they're polite, they're great kids. Every morning I see them, they have smiles on their faces, and they say, "Good morning, miss."
The community here is wrestling with the reality of President Trump's immigration crackdown, which many people support, and their own love and care for these children.
Bring our kids back! Bring our kids back!
The school is the center of life in Sackets Harbor, and 3 students who have been here for years now are gone. On March 27th, masked and armed federal agents came to North Harbor Dairy and detained 7 people they determined were in the country illegally, including the 3 children. The family does have an immigration case in New York and was attending check-ins and court hearings. Danielle Jones is holding a sign that reads, "People are not illegal."
Laws are legal, actions are legal, not human beings and human lives. And we're just here to, support the human beings that are kind of being left out of the equation of all these, executive decisions.
Jones lives on Wellesley Island, where there's a Border Patrol station. She says CBP agents are friends and neighbors, but now she's seeing them through a new lens.
I don't like looking at them accusatory, and I feel threatened by them.
Joan's husband, James, served 22 years as an infantryman in the U.S. Army. He grew up in Texas and says he worked alongside migrant laborers in farm fields. He says everyone is just trying to survive in this world.
And it's not illegal to take care of your family and, seek a different life or to get away from violence, which happens so often.
The crowd is growing. People tell me they've come from Syracuse, Lowville, Gouverneur, Waddington. Betsy McTierman from Oswego was in tears when we spoke. She says other people where she lives have also been detained. She feels helpless.
We've lost fathers from Fulton, New York. We can call and ask questions. We can try to speak to our Republican representatives in our county. We don't get answers.
There are about 500 people on the green now. A few people speak, including Pastor Jennifer Stamm from the First United Methodist Church in Watertown.
This isn't about politics. It's about protection. It's not about left or right. It's about what is right.
Then the crowd starts to move. The plan is to walk to Border Czar Tom Homan's lakefront vacation home, about a mile from downtown. The crowd swells as people join the march from side streets. People walk down Ontario Street in what feels like a never-ending line. When we reach Tom Homan's house, there are several police cars parked there. A small group of about 10 anti-protesters stand with American, Trump 2024, and Don't Tread on Me flags. Don Pitcher lives in Sackets Harbor. His own kids are friends with the detained children. He says his daughter came home crying.
She knows where I stand on immigration, and she's looking at me, why them, Dad? I go, listen, I try to explain it to her. It's tough. It's real tough. They're still hurting. The whole school's hurting.
He says it's unfortunate that the children and other hardworking dairy workers were picked up as collateral damage, but that this is the law.
Bottom line is, you either got to be here on a work visa, have a green card, or come here legally. And when you don't, these are the consequences.
In a statement released before the rally, Sackets Harbor principal Jamie Cook said her students were doing everything right, following the legal process, and are not criminals.
Save our children! Save our children!
Suzanne Preston came with her 2 children to the rally. She teaches social studies and government at Sackets Harbor. She says she knows these kids, and they deserve due process.
And the Bill of Rights covers everybody in the United States. You do not have to be a citizen to be under that rule of law. So it's really important for us. We have teachers on both sides of the aisle at the school. We all want our kids back.
That was Amy Feiereisel with reporting help from Catherine Wheeler. Again, our top story is that those 3 children and their mother are being returned to Sackets Harbor from their detention in Texas. An agreement is expected in federal court as early as tomorrow regarding what's called New York's Consumer-Directed Personal Assistance Program, or CDPAP. It would put on pause an administrative transition that people with disabilities say could hurt their services. Emily Watkins reports for the New York Public News Network.
Western New Yorker Renee Christian has received nearly 24-hour care through the Consumer-Directed Personal Assistance Program, or CDPAP, for over a decade. She's anxiously waiting to find out if Tuesday's agreement will pause a transition that she says has disrupted her life.
My calendar was full of at least 2 to 3 shifts a day with all those staff last month. And for the month of April, I have approximately somewhere between 27 and 30 shifts not full.
CDPAP allows disabled people to hire, train, and self-direct personal assistants who are paid through a fiscal intermediary. Last year, the state decided that 250,000 disabled people who use the program and their workers would transition from over 600 fiscal intermediaries to only 1. She says that at least 3 of her workers have quit since she switched to Public Partnerships LLC, or PPL. She's now down to 4 workers, and not all of them have been accepted as employees by PPL yet.
Pause the transition until we figure it out. Figure out a better, different way, because this is not the answer.
A preliminary injunction is expected as early as Tuesday night in the federal lawsuit against the Department of Health, filed by consumers and groups representing them. For the New York Public News Network, I'm Emily Watkins in Buffalo.
We have more news all the time on our website, ncpr.org. Music today by Mark Corey of Watertown and Paul Myers of Colton. I'm David Summerstein, North Country Public Radio.